What's up, guys? This is Phil, and we're back for another GTI podcast. I'm very excited. I hope you are as well. Today I've only got two guests with me because we couldn't find a third. It's very sad. So do you want to introduce yourselves and tell us a bit about what's going on with you guys at the moment?
Oh, okay. Hi, I'm other Phil from the previous podcast. Survived the first round of cuts. So yeah.
I'm Simon, also from the previous podcast. I'm back by popular demand.
Well, Phil's not back by popular demand. Phil's back because we need top numbers. I've really got we've got two topics at the moment. We're going to go for the slightly more controversial one first.
Alright.
I feel like that would be a good one to start with. So as a group of solely white, straight males, I feel like...
Where are you going? What? How does this end?
We are perfectly placed to talk about diversity within video games.
Okay.
Especially when it comes to women.
Right.
What do you mean?
Okay,
but what kind of diversity?
This is a dangerous game.
What kind of diversity?
No, there's
I'm gonna have to watch what I say.
yeah, you are. You definitely are. So I want to talk about how far do video games require diversity, and how far are they currently doing it correctly/incorrectly?
Do you mean like skin colour? Or
I mean
what?
We're mainly looking at women and men and the ways they interact, but skin colour works too, sexuality works too. It all works. Whatever you want. It's a freeform show.
I don't know where to start.
So I was like, where do I begin?
I think there's a lot of... I don't think there are many games that are just men.
No.
I can't think of a game that is that doesn't have a woman in it.
Yeah, but the question isn't really are there women in it. The question is
dogs,
how are they? That's just dogs.
That's just dogs. There's no guys in that either.
It's just a dog.
Although there's a hand, so
who knows?
That could be.
Who knows?
It was a sick ending to dogs. I remember that back in the day.
I've never played it.
The worst thing about that game was when you had to name your dog and get to come by shouting into the mic.
That was so annoying. My sister used to do that.
It would never understand your voice. So we're like, Sparkles, Sparkles, Spark, Spark, and then you get it eventually. So whenever you want to play with it, you'd be like, at the middle of the night, you'd be playing, you'd be like, Spark! Your parents are like, what's going on here?
That game just made car journeys so impossible because everyone's sitting in the car having a good time, staring out the window, whatever, just jamming, and then someone's just like, Jeff.
My name's Jeff. Yeah, so other than that,
it would just be that for 5 minutes. It would just be like Jeff.
I think everyone at the end of their time with that game, their dog wasn't called Jeff. Their dog was called Jeff.
Yeah.
Because once it got in the system.
What a frustrating game.
Anyway, back to topic. Women.
Right.
Women aren't dogs.
Yeah, like I said, offhand, I can't immediately think of.
Yeah, but it's not like if they're there, it's how they're represented.
How are they portrayed?
Hey, let's look at League of Legends, because that's the only game
Alright.
in your life.
Going in it with the deep end.
In a way, I think sort of games that are based around combat or sort of don't have that much storyline to them. So League of Legends or sort of anything from that genre.
Or fighting games like Soul Calibur.
Oh yeah, or Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, any of those games.
Love them.
I think it's a bit... Apart from how they look, none of the characters particularly have a massive you don't really get that much of characters, do you?
No.
They're not developed that much. And so I think with that kind of game, it's hard to say sort of women are represented badly, unless you want to go at it from a visual perspective, and that's
Yeah. Well, our
personal opinion.
What if we go at it from a visual perspective?
Oh no!
Or if we stand in like that?
Well, I'm gonna go out there and say that they are not represented realistically.
But the question is, are men realistically portrayed in those games either?
No.
So is it?
Not really.
Is it just?
Well, probably, yeah. Probably not.
If you think about League of Legends, if you think about the well-proportioned male characters in that game,
Most of them are
Yeah, but like,
huge.
Mario's quite a good example, isn't he?
He's chubby.
Like, Mario's just quite a
He's just
standard
like
bloke.
a chubby Italian.
He's not like overly hench
He's
or
a chubby.
anything.
That's what he is. He's a chubby Italian plumber.
That is true. It's not wrong.
You hit the nail on the head. But like, in a way, I think it's good that sort of Mario is just like, it's just Mario and Luigi, and they're just standard guys.
They are. One of
Like,
the
it's great.
But those games. Wait, was it those games that I had? I remember there was a game I used to play. I can't remember what it was. It was a Game Boy game. But you got to choose which characters you played, and if you're a female character, you jumped higher, but you were weaker. I can't remember what game. Was
I know
that?
games like that.
Yeah, it's like why? Where did that stereotype come from? Where did the girls
is
can
that
jump
women-
higher? Okay,
Is that
Because-
just one?
Well, I was going to say, women are seen to be more agile.
dainty, isn't it?
They're more dainty.
So, like-
but men are much more like.
I would say
Not all men fit
none
the
of us are
stereotype,
particularly-
but
No,
none of us
but
particularly butch.
What about? Because I think Super Smash Bros is quite a good example, just because like there's a lot of
Variety.
female characters
Yeah.
in there.
Yeah.
I think in Super Smash Bros, like for example, Samus isn't portrayed as like that sort of as like the weak sort of dainty like.
no.
But was Samus like? Originally, was Samus? Well, no, Samus was a female from the beginning, but Samus is also wearing a super huge piece of armor. In
Yeah.
Super Smash Bros, when you're playing Zero Suit Samus, it's a woman in a like a unitard, like a blue.
It's like those
skin
things that
tight.
cyclists wear, not that you wear when you're riding.
The
a
like,
bike,
what? The like
the
full
full body,
skin
like the
lycra.
full body lycra.
Yeah, but that's like this skin.
Or like
tight, isn't it?
leotards.
Yes, like that. But like,
Why
it's
is
like,
it skin tight?
Because you've got to fit in that suit. Phil.
What with what? With cyclists?
Well,
Aerodynamic.
You know what-
It's aerodynamic.
yeah, no,
My,
that's,
my big shorts, which
that
are
makes a lot of
like,
sense.
Slows
Actually.
you down.
they slow me down.
Gosh,
There's
that's
more
down.
air resistance.
I mean, like standing.
There you go.
Can men hit women?
No,
In-
no,
in-
what?
in-
Whoa,
In
whoa.
video games. In
Whoa.
video games.
Well, I mean, in video games, they clearly do.
No, but like, should they?
What do you mean? Well, hang on. It's a bit
Well,
like
no,
you've asked a dangerous question there. We've wandered into a minefield.
I don't know if
okay?
you can really answer that question
It-
without insulting someone.
Yeah,
Here's-
exactly. That's why I asked it.
Here's how I see it. Okay, I think like, for example, in Diablo 3, right?
Yeah.
You've got
Adria.
no, not Adria.
Spoilers.
The witch lady.
Yeah,
Witch
Adria.
doctor?
Oh, Magda.
No, yeah, Magda, right? And she's like
A bitch.
Well, she kills Deckard Cain.
Spoilers.
I'm so sorry. I'm so
I can
sorry.
put a spoiler alert at the beginning. Don't
Oh
worry.
no! Oh. Well, yeah, and so we've ruined it now, so we might as well like go in for it.
Keep going.
So he's like, you're there in the house, and there's just like you can't dislike Deckard Cain. He's like, he's
quite
this,
a treasure you have there at that house.
exactly.
Sounds
He's
like an
like,
old Bane. If Bane made
He
it to old
does.
age,
Or
he'd
like,
be Deckard
if you
Cain.
do a Deckard Cain voice, then cover it with your hand, you sound like Bane.
Deckard Cain is like,
Yeah, no, it works.
when the city is in ashes,
You're-
you have my permission to die.
No, you're correct. You're completely correct. That makes a lot of sense. But yeah, anyway.
so he's like, Deckard Cain's like this old guy, and he's like being your actually. Side note: the main character in that game is a female. So, but anyway,
Whoa. The main character in that game is actually gender neutral.
Yeah,
'Cause you could
it can be any.
You could
no, as in
You mean Adrian?
not the character that you play.
You mean
but
Leah?
Leah.
You mean Leah?
No,
You
but
mean-
Leah's so annoying, she doesn't do
Oh,
anything.
Simon.
That's because you're sexist. No.
No, she literally doesn't do anything.
Bitch.
And she's really annoying.
No, it's like
No, but look, my point is, like, Adrian, like, murders Deckard Cain, and then, like, at that point, you're like, I'm going to kill you, like, I will avenge Deckard Cain. I think, like, if it's, like, an evil character,
no, but if it's a fight,
She doesn't. She's portrayed, and she has like moth things on her
Yeah.
back, and she has like weird,
Actually, to
crazy
some
hair,
extent, she's not
and
really
she's,
even a human.
she doesn't really look very
Yeah,
human,
but
so
what
you don't
about,
really
say-
feel bad when
let's
you kill
say,
her.
what's a good example?
Well, look, in Mass Effect, am I right in thinking you can,
Oh,
like,
you
punch
punch
the
a bitch.
reporter?
Yeah, there's a report in every game that you can just knock the hell out. But having said, I played all those games as I played those games. I played those games as male shepherd. Yeah, I know I did. Because like, if you could choose to play a male or female character, if you can design your character, which gender do you go for?
I normally go
Male or
male.
female?
I normally go male on the basis that there's just that tiny bit where you're like, I kind of want to make it like a bit like me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Maybe a little.
The thing
But
is,
like-
It's like on FIFA, when I play as like you play the like where you play as like your own player.
Yeah, you play yourself.
He's always really short. Like he's always like the minimum height.
Well,
it's great.
But no, it's like...
Well, that's because you're not short.
Well, not short as you.
Is why that is.
But giving a shout out to my brother, he once told me that he usually likes to play as a female character. He said he'd rather spend many hours staring at a girl's arse than a man's. So
Well, no, the thing is, like, okay,
that wasn't me.
Oh,
That was my
no.
brother.
the thing is, no, like recently I've been playing more male characters. Like,
This is going to be a considerably more offensive podcast than the last one.
no, it's not. Like with customizable games or whatever. It's just like I find that I play as sometimes if there's like any kind of romance option, I play male because it's like otherwise either way I go about it, it's a bit weird. Like, but if you're a man, it's like I'm a man, I'm a heterosexual man. It's like this makes the sense. So like Dragon Age, I play as male. Mass Effect, I play as male. Those I don't know. I don't look for the romance options in games really. But I mean, if they're there, that's nice. Thanks. But sometimes you're like Saints Row. Also, I played as a female character, but that was because the female character you could use the male voice. So
That is correct,
It was
you
like
can.
a really skinny white girl with like the Cockney voice, and it was brilliant. It was like, yeah, what's going on? It's like that's clearly a woman. It was brilliant. So can you punch a woman in the face? In
In a game.
Let's be very clear. In real life, no.
In real life,
Yeah, but then that's with the whole that's like
sexist.
Well, just don't
women
punch
should
anyone.
be equal.
You misogynistic pig.
But please don't punch us anyway.
Just don't punch
Cis
anyone.
Don't look down on us.
But it's like, but
It's a good thing most of our listening people
Yeah,
are men, so
it's like I wouldn't. Just don't punch anyone, really.
I think that's a good rule.
That's
to
a
go
disclaimer.
No,
We
but in
don't
games-
endorse punching.
In games, say that you're playing a fighting game, okay? You're playing
Okay.
a two-man like brawler.
Right.
Is it okay that men are fighting women?
by. I'm gonna say
I think,
yes.
I would say, and this was sort of my point about Magda, is it depends on the character.
If it's
Because-
like if they're obviously human characters, let's look at like Soul Calibur where they're obviously humans.
yeah,
Is that okay?
yeah, I think so. Like no, because if it's like I think it's like if it's sort of like a civilian type character, like they're just an innocent like person, then probably maybe not.
What about in GTA is it acceptable to punch prostitutes in the face?
Oh my god.
Simon, answer that one.
Well, I think this is one of those big things where you have to remember that it is a video game and it's not real life, and
But don't video games cause violence in the youth of today?
it's because.
No, they
they don't.
They fully don't.
And if they do, those kids are idiots.
It's like
So-
no, it's like that kid who played like Manhunt and then killed another kid by stuffing his head into a plastic bag. That's weird.
Don't do
What?
that.
No, do not.
Don't do
Manhunt was
that.
it was a really messed up game, and I think it's banned in this country. But one of the attacks you did, you walk up behind someone, you get a plastic bag and like put it over their head and suffocate them. And the kid was like, "That looks like fun." So an 11-year-old kid went out and did it.
Well, it's like there was.
Well, he's an idiot.
There was an article I read quite a while ago about how, and it was sort of based on the idea that the Saw films were inspiring like just like really weird people to do really horrible things.
Yeah.
And it was just like, oh no, because I think it's like, yeah, the idea was just like if you give people these ideas,
Then they're gonna run.
and
with
sooner, like if you give enough people the same, like present enough people with the same idea, eventually someone's like dumb enough to do it.
Yeah, and you've got to remember that there are dumb people in the world who will do it.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like if.
Isn't that's sort of that's why there are age ratings, isn't there?
Yeah, there is.
Like for
So-
that very reason is that like someone who's 10 years old doesn't, well, yeah, like you said, doesn't like see someone asphyxiating someone else in a game and be like, oh, I should do that.
Yeah.
Because I think they assume that by the time you're old enough to see that, you will think I shouldn't do that in real
Well,
life.
yeah.
But I don't really know
Well, are you?
I don't really know any figures or whatever about this. But I think that generally when you're younger, you're easier to be influenced,
Yeah, you're more
by
influenceable.
media or whatever you watch
That's very
and see.
true. I don't know, but the thing is, like, if you played Call of Duty, the really controversial Call of Duty game, I can't remember which one, with the no Russian mission. where you just go into.
I don't know.
So you don't know. You just like the prologue mission. You go into an airport as a man pretending to be a Russian, and you just shoot up civilians. Just absolutely shoot up an airport full of civilians. But the thing is, like, if I was say 12 and I played that level, I wouldn't be like, I want to go shoot up an airport.
You just know that that's wrong.
I know that's wrong.
Just not the correct thing to do.
Having said that, though, like, everyone's moral compass is slightly different, isn't it?
That's true.
So, like, what we think is normal, someone could have just a completely different moral compass. Doesn't mean it's wrong. Well, it is. No, it's wrong.
It's like, let's be clear. Disclaimer number 2: the GTI podcast does not endorse shooting up airports or shooting up anyone
or shooting up anything.
Yeah.
Into your system. Don't do drugs.
Whether it's animals or people or buildings, just don't do it.
Don't shoot anything, please.
Yeah.
But it's. I can't remember what I promised.
Not guns.
Yes. Like, I guess it's dependent on moral compass, isn't it? Like, it's different people react in different ways. And I think we all know that. And now. So, do we. Okay, here's another point. This is a big one. For games, video games, women, obviously. Like, right in society, women are pretty equal to men, aren't they? I know.
Wait, that's controversy.
Yes,
let's put it another way. Women are free to vote. They're free. They've got the same speech rights as men.
Okay.
They
have equal pay.
Simon.
Okay, I'm leaving.
He's gone. No, like they should. The bars and the sound thing have gone mental.
Such a controversial podcast.
They should have the same. Well,
right.
In theory, they shouldn't be discriminated against. They should, in theory, be on the same footing as men. Whether they are or not is not a debate for us to have.
I think they should be.
One,
just clearing it up.
Because one, no one cares about our opinions, as I found out, and two, because we are completely just unequipped to discuss it. But if you're playing, if it's a medieval game or a historical game based on a historical time, are the rules about that thrown out the window?
Well, I think in a way, it depends how realistic you want to go, doesn't it? Because I think in a lot of games, actually, you have modern characters who seem like they, in terms of their personality, belong in the modern day.
Yeah,
but
they're traditional characters, but they've been modernised.
Yeah, it's like
the other way around. They're modern characters, but they've been sort of transplanted into a medieval world.
Yeah, let's say this is an example from TV. I'm not sure quite how this one will transpose, but it probably does. Game of Thrones. Arya Stark is kind of what he's trying to say. In that universe, it's a medieval Europe kind of thing.
Yes.
The women are. They're a tool for diplomacy, basically, aren't they?
Alder Frey.
Yeah.
Basically, they're all just children which he marries off.
Exactly. That's what. But
that's why he's got so many.
And with Craster,
let's not go there.
Spoilers. Let's not. Okay, but we would say Brienne, Tarth, or Arya. They're very independent women. They're very. We're going to be our own.
You wouldn't get very many female knights.
You would
back in the good old days.
Yeah, but with those characters, it's no, you wouldn't. Wait, no, the good old
Simon.
No, but those characters act very much as they're very modernised. The female, they're like the female power banker that you see is I'm not going to get married and have kids because I want to advance my career, which is acceptable. If you do that, that's fine. If you want to not get a job and settle down, I don't mind. I'm not going to judge you. You can do whatever you want. Be your own person. Don't shoot up a high school. Or an airport. Don't shoot anyone.
Or get your dragons to burn down villages.
She's so angry all the time now in the news.
Spoilers. She is.
She's just an angry individual now.
She is.
But we're not.
But we love Khaleesi anyway. We love her anyway.
Shups. But no. But if your game is grounded in, it's a medieval game. There aren't designed to be medieval. Let's take Crusader Kings 2. It's a very good example. Or the other game, Mount and Blade. Let's say those games are examples. They're games that are designed to be. You are playing in this world. It's a medieval world.
Yeah. Well, it's supposed to be like a sim of history.
Yeah. It doesn't have a set storyline, but in that game, women are, in most cases, inferior to men. Women it's harder for you to continue your family line, which is basically surviving the game with a woman rather than a man. Women are usually they get your vassals who are below you get a negative opinion score of you if you are a woman. And in Mount and Blade Warband, if you're a woman, people look down and you're like, "Ah, you're a woman." What? Women? No. So, but is that allowed? Is that acceptable?
I think I'm going to go out on a limb and say I think it is, because it's a historical game and it's giving a more realistic representation of what the historical of what attitudes towards women of that historical period were. That's what I think.
I think it's a question really of like how realistic you want it to be. Like if it being realistic in that way makes you not want to play it anymore, then
don't play the game.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, if the vast majority of people wouldn't want it to be realistic in that way, then don't.
Yeah, but I guess it's come to like voting with your feet, isn't it?
Yeah.
People are like, oh, this game's realistic to this time period where that would be an awful game.
I don't know if I'd go that far.
No one would play that game, or in like the women will be like, this is really upsetting us. This is not how women should be represented.
Yeah.
And all the men would be like, this is not how women should be represented either. So no one would buy the game, so the game won't make any money.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, maybe that was a really huge screw up on our parts. But hopefully there's not a time in history where that happened.
I hope not.
You gotta hope not. You've got to hope not. But what about if your game is based in 1500s London and people complain because your game doesn't have any like ethnic people in it? There's a point. There was a game.
I don't really know.
Do we have a case study for this?
There was a game.
I have to admit, I don't know very much about 1500s London.
In medieval.
That's your expertise.
It was based in medieval.
You do history.
Middle East, and there were complaints because there were no people of African descent in this game, which was based in medieval Middle East. And the developers' argument was there weren't any African people in the Middle East at that time.
It's like if I was playing Shogun Total War or like something like that, and there weren't any white people in it, I wouldn't complain. I'd be like, well, yes.
Well, it's in Japan.
It's medieval Japan, isn't it?
Yeah.
They didn't really know Japan was a thing, I assume.
Yeah, this is very true.
Well, yeah, so like I wouldn't expect there to be. Like, if I was going to play Shogun Total War,
you wouldn't expect there to be like.
I want it to be full of Japanese people,
and samurai and ninjas and stuff.
It's like imagine if you like played Shogun Total War and someone was like, "Well, where are the tanks?" It's the same problem, isn't it? It's like, well, there weren't any. Well, it's the same problem with like, well, where are the Europeans? It's like, well, there weren't any.
Yeah, but what if people are like, but we're underrepresented in video games? What if that's people's argument?
But then that's sort of the industry as a whole, rather than because we're talking about specific games here, aren't we?
Yeah.
So is that
what if there is like a group? Is it better for a group to be underrepresented in video games naturally, or to be artificially shoehorned into games?
So wait, let's just clarify. What do you mean by naturally?
Let's say the first person shooting genre.
Okay.
It's predominantly filled with men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And quite like early to mid-20s men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are not women in that genre particularly because the traditional makeup of the frontline infantry of most militaries are men of that age.
Yeah.
So that's like a natural omission of a person.
As opposed to
like saying, oh look, that's like the thing. On Steam, there's a genre of female protagonist.
I did not know that.
One of the search criteria of the game is on the tag is female protagonist. Why is that?
Would you play a game just for?
Yeah, the thing is, like, why is that a selling point for a game nowadays? Is that a bad thing?
Well, I don't know. I guess like maybe if you're if you're just so fed up of like there just being always male protagonists, you're like, you know what, I'd quite like to play a game with a female. So I can kind of see why you might.
Yeah, but it's a bit odd that it's come to that point, is it? Or would it?
I do know what you mean, that just the fact that there's a female main character is a selling point.
Yeah, it's like
It's like, does that really...
Should that be a selling point?
Should I buy a game depending on what sex the main character is?
Would it be a selling point if the main character was Australian?
Yeah, or what's next? Are we going to get homosexual protagonist?
Gone Home.
Yeah, I know, but that game is just as shoehorn. It's like, oh, the main character is also a lesbian. She is.
I'm not playing that game.
Oh, no,
I'm sorry, I'm ruining your...
Oh, we're going to have so many parental controls. We're not going to be able to monetize this.
I'm not going to be asked back now.
Simon's not.
We're going to hashtag bring back Sam after this. But,
pretty bad.
no, but like, why?
Why what?
Why?
What's the question?
Why is being female a selling point in video games now?
I don't know, Phil.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it's supply and demand, Phil. It's like if there are people who will want to play a game more if there's a female protagonist,
then I guess
game
there are
companies will
people
make that.
who are into
I think
that.
that's good. I think
like in both ways, I think there are
respond to
female.
demand is
I
good.
think there are female people who are like, I want to play. It's like,
Well, look, if it was, I can see that actually. Like if they're,
if you're a girl, if you're a woman, and you see like you're like, I want to play as a strong woman character. Yeah, obviously. And there are guys who are also like, I can respect that I want to play as a strong woman character, and there are guys who are creepy and weird who also want to play as a female character.
Why have you got that grin on your face, Simon?
Well, you both just turned to look at me at the same time when you said that, and I was just like, wow. I'm not. That's not why I play games. Just then.
Good. I'm glad.
Speaking of which, there will be the classic hot chick of the week. That will be in the link in the description below. Go check it out. It's going to be a good one. Did you look at the hot chick? Did you look at the hot chicken
breast
last week, Simon?
I didn't look at it. Was it in the description?
Is this going to become a regular feature now?
Yeah, obviously, every time.
Alright.
Hot chicken week.
Become the thumbnail.
Are we?
Just chicken after chicken. Like.
I can actually do that, I think.
Can you change the thumbnail?
I think I can,
to a chick.
Okay. What we should do, I think, how we get more views, right? Okay, this is controversial.
Oh, Phil, no!
We change our image, our thumbnail, to an attractive woman in front of a neon background.
Yes, that would get more.
It would get more views.
Also, this is my suggestion. I think that we need like a proper intro. You claim we've got one, but I think we need a better one.
We're getting our own theme song, but the issue with the theme song is that we can't. It's not always going to be the same people every week.
Where are we getting a theme song from?
Simon singing it.
Or
I'm well after that.
Or we could get a shout out to DJ J Crawford.
DJ J Crawford.
I hear he's a regular listener.
An avid listener. Shout out to Mr. Crawford.
He is
Against it. Well, we've got a pretty sick song at the moment for our intro song though. It's pretty sick.
The intro is a work in progress.
Oh. Do you not love the song?
From it could be improved.
Oh. To be honest.
Need some lyrics in there, I think.
What if our thumbnail was like a chicken with the sun in the background, like on a sun? Because then it could be the hot chick podcast. Just to extend that joke even further.
Next week, the podcast may just be me, because this is the level we're getting.
It might not be anyone, Phil. This is just 40 minutes of silence.
And then the end song.
Yeah.
I think I'm playing the full song of our theme song at the end of the podcast, with the credits.
There are credits.
Well, there might be.
There might be. It's like just so we can have the full song.
Yeah,
we'll add in credits.
It's a great
And
song.
that's where he can say this person's not coming back next week. Or ever again.
It's like the great part of the podcast.
No, why don't you put the song at the beginning with all the disclaimers there's going to have to be?
Because a lot of people, I think, just like they turn on the podcast and then they flip away and they just do whatever.
Well, that's fine.
It's like, warning, this podcast contains...
You're going to have to literally do it.
all sorts of very inappropriate comments.
A proper disclaimer after this saying, Phil ruins Diablo for everyone. Also, we step on some very thin ice, and I think Simon falls through it at least twice. Should we move on?
Yes.
Because
I'm less likely
we've
to
been
fall
going
through
30
some more
minutes
ice.
on some very thin ice, and if we've all seen Ice Road Truckers, eventually that truck's going through the ice.
Oh no.
Okay, let's talk about something a little less controversial.
Yes, please.
But something that we are all equally unqualified to talk about.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Just about everything.
Well, yeah, obviously. Mods.
I'm a fan of mods.
Okay, no,
personally.
but paying for mods.
Oh, I'm not a fan of that.
What kind of
What
mods?
do you mean for that?
This was okay.
I don't know many games.
Bethesda
with
and
mods.
Steam decided to do a thing where they were like, what if we took some mods and put them that were free and we make people pay for them for Skyrim. That most popular of all games apparently. And then they did that and people were like crying about it. They were like, but it was free and now it's £5. And then Steam were like, oh, yeah, no, you're completely correct, and they took down the stock. And so now you can't buy those mods, but they're free.
Well, I think with Skyrim...
So it's not on the Steam store?
No, it was. Well, kind of like...
You can get
buy it
mods
through
on
Steam.
Steam.
Like, you could buy them, but then...
It's free, isn't it?
They weren't, no, but they weren't for a time.
Or did they come as like a pack of mods?
No.
They were individual mods?
Yeah.
What?
Like,
But you could have probably...
Yeah.
I imagine they were on Skyrim Nexus, because that's where all of the Skyrim mods are.
Yeah.
So you probably could have gone to Skyrim Nexus and
And
then
got them for
downloaded
I
them
imagine
for free.
that is
But
probably true.
then you would have had to manually add them into the files.
Yes.
Which is effort.
Yes.
And
So
if you know from modding Skyrim,
So you're basically
so many things can go wrong.
you're
if you mod it.
basically paying to not have to sort of mess about
Yeah.
with files.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the way I've
But-
taken it. It's the lazy way of adding mods.
Yeah. But you're paying for that. You were paying for that. But the thing is, you were paying for that when the day before you could have done that for free with the same mods.
Yeah, and you could have done it from the same place as well.
Yes. So, what my question is should you pay for mods? And if you should pay for mods, how should a mod owner make a mod worthy of being paid for?
Personally, I don't think that you should have to pay for mods, or in the extreme extent. Some people might have heard of the so-called Skywind, which is it's the Morrowind world created using the Skyrim engine.
Yeah.
And that basically adds the whole of Morrowind onto the game, onto Skyrim the
it
game.
depends what kind of mod it is, doesn't it?
Well, yeah.
Because like you're effectively buying an expansion then, aren't you?
Yeah, because it's such a big mod and it's essentially a whole game, I wouldn't disagree if you had to pay with that. But if it was just like a set of armours, then I'd be like, I don't want to pay for that.
When DayZ as the mod came out,
Yeah.
so it came out as a mod of Armour 2, right?
Yes.
I can see why that would why you would attach a price to that. Like I don't think they did in the end, did they?
No, they made it a game. They made it a
Yeah, they made it a standalone.
That was
like
that game.
I think it was such a big change.
Yeah, it was like...
Sort of, it was a completely new thing.
So you're saying like complete conversions, maybe?
Yeah.
So
if you're using the same engine but doing something completely new with it, I can see.
what about like a massive like overhaul mod, which is the same thing, but it's like they've added something significant, like say... What?
So what, is it like a DLC?
No, like so say like on one of the Skyrim mods, it's like it adds like a survival element to the game where like you can't go out even if it's too cold, your character will freeze to death. You need to eat to stay alive, etc., etc. Stuff like that. Is that?
Probably not.
Yeah, I don't think
Probably
so.
not. I don't think I'd pay for that.
Because I think with a lot of mods, if one person makes it, then someone else is probably going to make something very similar.
Yeah,
Is what I think.
I think that's quite true. And it's like, I don't know. I don't know what modding community's like. I don't know how modding community works.
The only other thing, especially with the example of Skyrim, where I would pay for mods, would be if it was a whole load of mods all bundled together into
What's
one
like a big
pack.
bundle?
Because with Skyrim, My brother also does a lot of modding with Skyrim.
His brother does everything.
Yeah, he does.
Sounds like a top bloke.
He's a lot like me, but he's a lot like
from the awkward comment.
yeah, he's a lot like me, but 9 years older. But anyway,
Sounds mental.
Or awful, depending on your opinion.
yeah. Well, anyway, as I was trying to say, Skyrim is once you start adding probably 100 plus mods, it gets very unstable. The maximum number of mods you can add is 250.
Okay. That's a lot.
But the game gets very unstable. 100 mods.
So all you're trying
upwards.
to say is you would pay if all those mods could be bundled into one mod.
Into one stable.
So it's like
then I might pay.
Here is your mod. Like I want the mod that gives me the horse armor and the sword and it's silence and probably nudity. I don't know. And it adds more.
I haven't said anything.
And it's the snow now settles properly and there's footsteps and you get all those mods from different places and you're like, but now when it snows on my house, everything turns blue and the sword clips through my own face when I attack anything. What you want to say, all of these mods, one big pack, it all works together, you install one file, it's brilliant.
But then it's just a big mod, isn't it?
£5, please. Is that what you're trying to say?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah.
I can dig
Makes
that.
sense. I like it.
I can dig that, Simon.
Thank you.
Dig dog.
What?
Dig dog.
What?
My name's Joe.
Oh, that was a trend for far too long.
You know what else was? Sorry, while we're on things that were far too long, Uptown Funk at the #1 spot on the charts for far too long.
It's number 11.
If we could not sing that song right now, that would be great, because otherwise I won't be able to monetize this video.
Hang on, I'm trying to think of the lyrics.
With that, before we start going into territory which is not copyright, and the thing is, if I do that, I have to get written consent from Bruno Mars.
Don't you have to get it from the other guy? Because wasn't there a big
Bruno
Mars who actually?
Oh yeah, that'd be so much better. So with that in mind, we're going to end this.
Yeah, okay.
Shut up.
Okay, yeah, I didn't do anything.
I'd like to thank you all very much for watching,
Or listening,
or both. Who knows? You could, but if you
watch,
it'd be a bit
dull.
If you're one of those people that's like two screens, like I do, you have like Diablo or something on one screen, and you're just like.
So no, you won't have this on the other.
Then you're not watching this.
That's true. I'm also not really watching it. I'm playing Diablo.
Yeah, no. The thing is though, because watching this would just be watching a blue screen with orange text.
Yeah.
And occasionally the text.
I did realise that last week.
Were you trying to watch it and then realised it was just a blue screen?
Well, no, like occasionally I'd flick back and I'd be like, oh, it's just the topic we're talking about.
Well, yeah, but like that's all you need, right? It's not
Yeah,
video
true.
Yet, dun dun dun. Expansion.
Gonna get like live feeds.
Then we have to get an actual room to do it, or would we?
Yeah.
Or
That's beyond us.
Or we just do. Oh, I don't know. No, we just no.
Yeah. So. Yeah, we didn't even talk about the election.
That's controversial. I can wait till next time.
Yeah,
That's enough controversy for one episode.
Yeah.
Oh my word! Imagine if there's like a feminist who watches this.
Oh.
And with that, thanks very much for listening, and we'll see you again very soon.
Hopefully.
Maybe. Simon won't.
Simon.
Simon.
Ban.